For this video, I'm continuing off of the IAM users and groups video, which is the first video in this playlist, and I'm going to show how to how the policies work hands-on between the users. So on the left is my root user, and I'm going to sign into the IAM user on the right window. I think that's what I called it. And is called user David. Alright, so you can see that this is just an IAM user and this is my root user. So anyway, I'm going to, if you look here at the users groups, you'll see an admin, and one of those will say David's user, and I'll have one permission, and I'm gonna change that. So as I wait for that, let me just go to the same thing here. I'm gonna remove David from the user group. So you can check it and then say remove user, and it'll lose the group permissions and user removed from group. Now to show that that has been applied on the right window, I'm going to refresh the page, and now I don't have permission anymore to look at the user and groups, because before I had the policy of whatever it was called. There was administrator access. So anyway, now we don't have that anymore. So now I'm going to show, I'm going to give it read-only access now for this user, David. So here I'm going to go to users, go to David, and add permissions, or you could add inline policy, which just means add only to this user, but I'll just do add permissions. And we're going to attach existing policies directly and just search IAM, and we want the read-only access. Check it, say review, it's going to give that, then add permissions. So you see here it has the policy of read-only access, and we could refresh on the right and see that it's been applied. So now this user David has read-only access. But what does that mean? Well, if it could read it, it could look at it, but it can't do other stuff like create stuff. So let's try to create a group, and we'll call it developers. And it doesn't matter what you do, you'll do create group. At the top it says you can't, because it's not authorized. It doesn't have the policy to do it because it's only read-only access. So anyway, let's actually add this David, the username, back to the user group. So I'll do it over here in the root, because this only has read-only access on IAM. Just go to users, or go to user groups, go to group name, and users in this group, add users, and alright, so now we're added to the group, and I'm gonna refresh here. And now I'm gonna create another group. Let's just call it develop devs. And it doesn't matter what policy you do, I'm just doing it as an example. So we created it. And let's add David to it. So now he's part of two groups. So now let's look at the policy inheritance of David, and you see here the permissions. It has one attached directly, and then two that inherited from groups. So this is from the admin group and this is from the devs group, and you can see that it's part of both. So now let's look at policies. Go here to left from policies, And let's just do like doesn't really matter. Let's do read-only access and look at the JSON format of it. And so here's just the code. Version statement is, so it's allow, so it's either allow or deny, and so it's saying allow, and the action is going to be for direct connect describe. Star just means any, so it's allowing all these actions, and it's allowing it for all resources. And this is just read-only access, direct connect. And you just go to policy summary, and it's kind of the same thing, where it says it's running on 2 of the 314 services, and it's just affecting these two. This read, this access level, and yeah. So let's do let's create a new policy, custom policy. So you go to policy, let's create policy here. And there's two ways, visual editor or JSON, where you put in that code. Let's just do visual editor, and you can always import, choose a service, so let's do IAM. And the actions is, let's do list users, and then get users. So we're allowing them, but you could also switch to the 9 ones. So anyway, resources, you could do specific ones, or you could do all resources. Let's just do all. You could do request conditions. And so this is just created through visual editor, and you can see in the JSON file it changed it to copy what we put here. So we have our statement ID, visual editor 0, and it's allowing these two actions of listing users and get the user, and it's applied on all resources. So anyway, you could do all that, and if you want to put more, if you want to change it, like let's do specific, or whatever you want to change, it'll change it here. I'm not going to actually do it because I just messed it up. So this should change. Anyway, do next tags and next review, and you create the policy IAM, list read, give it a name. So we'll just call it IAM list read user. Now we create the policy, and I guess I'll show applying it to our user. Let's get rid of this read-only access policy, so just click X here, and we're going to detach it. And also the same thing with, well, I'll just delete the other group, and then I'll delete this one. I'll show that before, but let's add permission. And IAM list read user, and next add permission. So that's how to do it, but I'm not actually going to do that, but that's just a step for how to add custom permissions, or just permissions in general. Let's go, let's just delete this devs group, and you just gotta type it again to confirm it. And now we go to our users, and you see it's only has this policy, the other one went away, and it's only in this group. And just to double check, let's look at the other window and just refresh it, and everything's fine. You can see it as the IAM user, you can still see it and everything. And so anyway, that's working with policies in IAM for AWS.